different kind of world. It's four concrete walls and a solid steel door.
This man spent more than a year in solitary confinement when he was doing time for armed robbery.
You give up hope, you start imagining things, illusions of grandeur. You escape reality.
We're protecting his identity because it could affect his job. He's been out of prison for years now, but his time in solitary has had a lasting effect.
I think that there's some serious psychological damage that can happen in extensive stays in solitary confinement.
The United Nations agrees. It says solitary confinement longer than 15 days amounts to torture. And although the use of segregation in Canadian prisons has declined nearly 20% over 2 years, it's still regularly used, but not uniformly across the country. Take Donnacona in Quebec, a maximum security prison. Inmates there are admitted to segregation 3 times as often as inmates at another maximum security prison, the Edmonton Institution in Alberta. So why such a variation? In part, it's because there are 2 types of segregation. Disciplinary segregation has oversight and can only last a maximum of 30 days. But administrative segregation has no time limit, and individual wardens decide who goes in and for how long. Critics want that to change.
It's problematic that it's local factors rather than legal rules that governs the use of this very severe practice.
Watchdogs want to amend the legislation and add oversight and time limits to administrative segregation. And they want to make sure it also isn't being used to deal with inmates with mental illness.
Far too often, for example, we see individuals who are being segregated really not for any of the reasons that are prescribed in law, but really just because they're difficult to manage in the general population and staff need a bit of a break.